Great day. Thanks for taking some time to review this information with us here today. I want to start by first asking you a question. Do you like sports? Or maybe, do you love sports? And if you don't, do you know anybody who likes or loves sports? Matter of fact, if you're one of those rare few people who don't like sports, matter of fact, you may even hate sports, do you have any of those annoying family and friends who really love sports and that's all they seem to talk about? Well, most people either like or love sports. 90% of the United States population, and really 90% of the world's population, either likes or loves sports. But regardless of where you fit in, I want to ask you a question. Whether you like sports, love sports, or hate sports, or you could care less, what if you could get paid every time every single person you know watches an NFL game, an NBA game, a baseball game, a hockey match, a soccer match, a NASCAR race, a golf tournament, a tennis tournament, a Formula One race. I mean, literally any of the sports, any of the major sports from all around the world. What if you could get paid anytime everybody you know watches some of these sports? Would that be an interesting concept? Well, it is an interesting concept, and it's real now. I want to say welcome on behalf of the Global Sports Network to United Games. United Games is a brand new company and a brand new app that you're going to see coming out that'll be available for all the smartphones, for the tablets, which almost everybody these days has. You're going to see this coming out in the fall of 2016, just right around the corner. Literally, we say a giant is emerging. Why? Well, it's going to become a billion, I believe actually a multi-billion-dollar company, and there'll be less than 4% of the total customers who will actually be paying customers. Think about that for a second. Now, I know that may sound kind of crazy, but I'm going to tell you how that can happen in just a minute. The cool thing is that the average customer will stay with this and play these games for 9.7 years. And here's the big point. The average customer who enjoys playing these games, they share it with 7 other customers. I mean, imagine any business you're in that you have a satisfied customer that brings you 7 more customers. And by the way, guess what they do? They bring 7 more who bring 7 more. What a great concept. Also, by you becoming an affiliate with United Games, you can generate commissions for getting customers that play our games for free. Unbelievable, right? It's true. Very true. Well, let's start by talking about the app world. The app world is huge. There's an app for everything out there. Matter of fact, in 2015, over 100 billion apps were downloaded, generating $45 billion in revenue. But by the end of 2017, they're projected over 268 billion apps to be downloaded, generating over $200 billion in revenue. This is one of the most explosive industries in the history of business. Why is it happening? How is it happening? Well, let's take a look real quick. Let me ask you a question. Do you have a DVR? And if you don't, do you know anybody else that has a DVR? Well, that's a digital video recorder. And guess what? Most people today have one. And you know what they do? They record all their favorite shows. And guess what they do? They watch those shows just like they normally would. The only difference is an hour show is now 40 minutes and a half an hour show is now 10 minutes because you know what they do? They fast forward through the commercials. Well, let me ask you a question. Of all the forms of advertising out there, which one generates the most significant amount of revenue? Well, it's television advertising, television commercials. Far and away the number one biggest revenue generating form of advertising in the world. And so can you imagine what's going on Madison Avenue right now? Well, what little hair is left, they're pulling out. Because everybody's fast forwarding through the commercials. People are not watching them, and advertisers are saying we're spending hundreds of billions of dollars in advertising and we can't reach people. They're skipping our commercials. What are we supposed to do? Well, guess what? Madison Avenue has found a new place to take those advertisements. They're taking them to the app world. They're putting them in apps, in games that people play. Games that people play, and by watching these apps, they get credit so they can play these games more. They can play the games for free by watching these commercials. So literally, instead of watching a commercial on your TV, you're watching it on your phone. You're watching it on your iPad or your pad. And this is exactly what's happening. These mobile games are exploding. Matter of fact, you've probably heard of Angry Birds and Candy Crush and Farmville. But look at some of these, some of the ones that are trending. Clash Royale, Clash of Clans, Game of War, Mobile Strike. People like these kind of games. Look at the daily revenue totals. Clash Royale, $1.5 million a day in daily revenue, and they've got 121,906 people installing them every single day. Every single day. How many would that be during the course of the year? Well, don't add it up because I did it for you. It's 44,495,000 brand new people just in the next year worldwide that are playing this. Well, how's this all happening? Well, I'll tell you how it's happening. Because the cost of pads have dropped significantly. And these days, my gosh, smartphones, they're practically giving them away at the lowest level. So everybody's getting them. If you go to some of the more lower economically driven areas of the world, you know what? To catch up with where we are today, they bypass 2 or 3 generations of technology. And in many places, you could go to villages where they have dirt roads. They may not even have electricity in their home, but they've got smartphones in their hands. It's a worldwide phenomenon. And guess what? So is game playing. Well, I'm going to introduce you to a new concept. And this new concept is called freemium. What is freemium? Well, freemium is where you start for free. You play games for free, and then you move up to premium. And premium is where you're buying certain things inside the games, whether it's tokens or coins or gems or weapons. I was talking to a guy the other day. He said, I'm a professional pool player. He said, and I was playing a virtual 8-ball game on our phone, and he said right there in the middle of the game, the guy bought a $99 pool cue so he could make better shots. I said, you mean 99 US dollars? He said, yeah. I said, so he bought a virtual pool cue for $100? He said, yeah, that's right. So see, here's what's going on. The majority of the people play for free, but they want to play more. So you know what they do? They watch a 30-second or a 15-second commercial. And when they watch that, they get another credit to play some more. Well, look at this right here, Candy Crush, one of the most popular ones all around the world. 96% of the players are free. Their quarterly revenue last year was over $500 million for a quarter. That's over $2 billion. It's unbelievable. And look at the freemium play. It's crazy how much revenue they're generating. My question to you is, are you making any money there? Well, as much as games are a lot of fun, let me ask you, how big is sports? I mean, think about it. How big is sports? Worldwide, there is nothing that is bigger worldwide than sports. Matter of fact, if you look at fantasy sports, which is a very fast-growing phenomenon, 56.8 million people are playing fantasy sports in the U.S. and Canada. And the interesting thing is the average time they spent on their fantasy sports every week, 8.67 hours, over an hour a day. But look at this. Sports fans are where the numbers really are. There's more than 290 million Americans who watch sports. That's 90% of the population. The average time they spent consuming sports, I always love that, consuming sports, 17.89 hours a week. That's over 2 hours. It's about 2.5 hours a day, each and every day. Americans right now are spending $35 billion a year on sports and sports-related and branded merchandise. $100 billion is spent each year on sports gaming, like fantasy sports. That's $100 billion and growing. But look at this one, $800 billion each year on gambling, and that's just the United States. Think about this, though. Fantasy sports cover just a sliver of the market. Nearly 20% of Americans play fantasy sports, but 90% are sports fans. So what is fantasy missing? Well, I want you to think about that for 1 second. Let's not bypass that too quickly. 290 million people watch sports. If 20% of them are playing fantasy sports, what about the other 70? Well, that 70% represents 203 million Americans that are basically our target market. Now, when you look at fantasy sports, 10 reasons why not to play. Well, we don't really care if people play. Let them play. They're going to play our games also. But the main reason that 70% doesn't, that 203 million just in the United States, not to mention the rest of the population of the world, well, the odds are stacked against new players. It's not easy to get up to speed to play. It's real easy to lose money. It's pretty hard to win. It changes the way people watch games, you know. If you watch games with friends, they don't like watching games with you if you're a fantasy sport person because you're focused on players and their stats and not as much on the team, and people just don't enjoy that as much. You know, it totally affects how you choose to watch the game. It's too much about the statistics and not enough about just the fun of the game. And you feel compelled to play with other teams' players, even though you may not like that team. It could be the natural rival of your team, but you're trying to win your league, so you got to use players from teams that you normally cheer against. I mean, imagine you're playing a team and you want the player on that opposite team, your main competition, your number one competitor, your hated rival, but you want them to score on you, and you want them to score a lot because you want those points so you can win your fantasy league. I mean, it's crazy. It takes a lot of time to get good, and normally if you really want to play, it takes a lot of extra software and money and tools to be a pro, and it's really kind of like a spreadsheet interactive experience. I mean, it's not an easy thing to do. Certainly not fun. I mean, unless you're just totally hardcore and into it. Now, here's how we're going to capture the majority of the market. We have a market that is 5 times bigger than fantasy sports, but no one's appealing to them. Literally, there's no one appealing to them right now, and we're going to be the first to dive into that market. We're going to take all the reasons why people don't play fantasy out of the equation, and now we're going to give them a reason to play. And we're going to do this with a game inside the mobile app space, and it's going to be enormous. And you get to be a part of it if you want to. Let's talk about this, because it's much bigger than the United States. The global market is huge. There's almost 8 billion people on the planet. Most fantasy sports sites focus on football and basketball. That's mostly USA dominated. But look at this. Soccer, cricket, and hockey are the largest international sports. Heck, 3.4 billion people watched the World Cup last time when Germany won. 3.4 billion. That's almost half of the world's population. That's never happened for other sports. It just doesn't happen. NASCAR's average attendance is 98,000. Have you seen one of the Formula One? Have you ever seen the Formula One race from Monaco? The hillsides are lined, every building, every balcony. Heck, the entire marina is filled with luxury yachts with people having parties and loaded up watching it. And what about all the global events such as the Olympic, the Tour de France, the World Championships? I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on. Sports is huge all around the world. And my question to you is, are you capitalizing on it? Well, most people are not. Also, all these people that gamble, it's time to take our sports back from the gamblers. I mean, we know they're going to continue to gamble, but we want to provide something for all the people that don't gamble, and we also believe that a lot of the gamblers are going to have fun doing this too. So, introducing to you the better way to play. Well, it's a free app with in-app advertising and in-app purchases. We'll talk about that in a minute. It's a freemium game model. We talked about start with free, go to premium. Rewards players for achievements. Think about that. As you continue to play more and you achieve, you get rewarded. One of the greatest forms of reward for people is recognition. Imagine you see your name on the leaderboard and say, hey, that's me, you know. People love that. They love that. Also, there's going to be rankings at the city, state, national levels, over time, even the international levels. As you can tell, we got a mature framework of league managers, sport promoters, and players. So you're going to have access to a lot of information. People who are experts that'll share their insight during the course of the week leading up to the time that you have games. So there's literally a reason 24 hours a day, 7 days a week why somebody may want to be on this if they got some open time. Now, the cool thing is it's built by an Interactive Sports and Mobile Rewards veterans. I can tell you this. If you've ever heard of EA Sports, Madden NFL Football, well, Mark Monge, the gentleman who built that, is also the guy who's building this. He also did EA Sports NASCAR, which is their #1 race car game. He also worked on the FIFA game as well, which is the global soccer one. He's the best of the best in the world, and he's building out the United Games app. See, here's the other thing, too. It feels like a game, not like a spreadsheet. You can look down there at some of the screenshots and kind of see the way it is. It's going to be very easy to use, very easy to navigate. I mean, a 4 or 5-year-old kid could do it like the back of their hand. And so could an 80 or 90-year-old person. It's going to be really, really simple and a lot of fun. It eliminates the fantasy sports negatives like gambling and difficulty levels. There's strong social elements like live chats with friends during live events. Also, it's a better way to play along live with your team, the team that you like. See, you could play with every single game. We're starting with NFL and Major League Soccer, and we're going to add all the other national and international sports very, very quickly, and you could play as many games as you want. Heck, you could play by yourself, you could play against the rest of the world, anybody else who's playing that, or you could create your own game and invite anybody you want just to play in your game. So you pick the game, the team that you want to play, and then you either play single with the world or create your own game and invite people in. There's going to be a lot of elements to make it as fun as you want and play in any different way that you want. Now, let me ask you a question. Why are we different? Why are we different? Well, I'm going to tell you why we're different. Number one, it's game versus gambling. There's loyalty to my team versus the NFL where people just pick any player from any team. It's a game experience versus a statistic experience, and all experience levels play together. You can have a grandchild with a grandparent playing and they can have a blast. Game by game experience. No algorithms to try to figure out. I mean, you don't have to be a mathematician to play this. You play the game, not just the players, and it's a really cool social experience. Again, if you look to your right, you'll see this. I mean, there's going to be all sorts of things you can do through the game, and it keeps it fun so anybody and everybody can play, whether it's a group of friends, whether it's family and friends. We really want to make this a social experience. Well, fantasy versus what we say the better way to play. I mean, you can look at some of the points. The bottom line is people that play fantasy are going to keep playing fantasy, but we're looking out to that 70% of the sports market that doesn't play fantasy, even though we know a lot of fantasy players will play this. You know why? They're not going to quit fantasy, but most of them are kind of frustrated with it because it's not easy. It's hard to win, and let's face it, who doesn't want to win? I mean, if you ever played skee ball at one of the arcades and, you know, you throw the balls down the thing and it goes up into the holes, and the more points you get, little tickets come out. Well, you know, if you win a few tickets, you take it and you get a small little prize like a keychain or something. You know, if you get a lot of tickets, you might get the big stuffed animal. Well, that's kind of what's going to happen here. Everybody can win. It's just how much you're going to win. And when you win, what are you going to win? Well, you're going to win things like ball caps and jerseys and maybe footballs and baseballs and basketballs and things like that. You win a little bit more, you might get tickets to games, might get tickets to playoffs. You win a little bit more, you might even get a ticket or a weekend luxury package to a Super Bowl, to a World Cup, to the Olympics, luxury vacations, luxury cars. I mean, all kinds of things you can win from the smallest up to the grandest, and it's going to be a lot of fun playing it. Now, how does it work? You download the app and become a player for free. It costs absolutely nothing. When we open the app up for download in the fall of this coming year, anybody can download it for free. and then you just choose a game to play. You could play any of the NFL games, any of the Major League Soccer games, and then, of course, like I said, we're going to add all the other national and international sports. Now, you could play for free, or you could play with tokens. You can buy tokens. You can also get tokens free with memberships, and you're going to have the freemium tokens with ads to click. I want to talk about that for a second. Remember earlier I talked about Madison Avenue, saying our advertisers need to reach consumers, and how can we do it? Well, every single day a person can go on here and they can watch a 15-second ad and get a free token, which is $1 value, that they can then play a game with right on the spot, or they could save it to later, save it to the weekend, or whenever they want to. And they can do up to 5 15-second ads a day. That's 75 seconds, and get $5 worth of tokens, 5 individual tokens worth $1 each. That's $5 a day, and you could do it every single day. 30 days in a month, that's $150 of tokens to play just for free. And if you want to play more than that, well, guess what? Then you can buy even more tokens yourself. You get freemium tokens with the ad clicks as well. I mean, it's going to be awesome how this thing works. Now, play by yourself, like I said earlier, or with others. You earn points and earn those rewards that I was just talking about. So, why play the better way? Well, look at this. The average person will spend $8.61 for movie tickets. I think it's higher than that now. $5 for a high school sporting event. $50 to $150 for tickets to professional sporting events, and that's for bad seats. $2.25 admission to plus tokens for an arcade. With the better way to play, you can play for free, or you can pay $1 to $1.50, and everyone gets rewarded. Playing along with your team brings the game to life and makes the experience that much better. I mean, it's just fun. If you think about it, sports brings people of all types together in a unique way. Our game is going to be a place, literally a place where you will meet new friends and create a new social outlet with like-minded people, because you can create those games and let anybody play that you want. So what's our launch strategy? Well, we're building out our affiliate network right now. It's $29.99 to register as an affiliate, and then $10 a month. However, when you register today, you're not charged the $29.99, and the $10 a month doesn't start until we download the app. So when we download the app in the fall of this year, just a few months away, you'll be charged $29.99 and then $10 a month. And then we're just sharing now socially. Just like somebody sharing this with you, you could share it with others. And then consumer sharing with the in-app benefits, and we also want to have the top ranking app in the App Store when we introduce this. So let's kind of break this down real quick just to share with you exactly what I'm talking about. Right now, you can become a United Games affiliate for $29.99. And you don't have to pay that. You put your credit card up now, but you won't have to pay it until we open up. When we open up, you'll be charged, and then $10 a month. You're also going to get tokens with that $10, so you'll be able to use those to play the games. Now, what are we doing now? We're looking for people that want to be affiliates. People that say, you know what, I do want to be a part of this. It makes sense. You mean I'm going to have a chance to make money for getting people to play something for free? That's where people get caught up. I think most people now understand that you watch the commercials, and when you watch the commercial, you get $1 token for each commercial, and you can get up to 5 free tokens a day. Well, 30 days a month, that's 150 free tokens with a value of $1 each. That's $150 in free tokens. Now, they're not technically free. I mean, they're free to you, but you had to watch a commercial of 15 seconds. I mean, let's face it, 75 seconds a day, you can do that while you're brushing your teeth. And I can tell you, people that play the games, they don't miss their free tokens. They do not miss a day. They'll get them every single day. I mean, who wouldn't, right? Who wouldn't? Everybody's going to get them. So how does this work? Well, there's a lot of ways you can get paid, but I'm going to talk about the most important. That literally, if all you wanted to do was go get players, you could create any level of income you want. Because anybody you get as a player, which, by the way, remember, that's somebody who downloads the app for free when it becomes available. They become a player, and they can get up to 5 tokens a day for free, which is $5. It's $150 during the month. Well, you get 10% on all the players that you get to download this app. And let's just assume they all get their free tokens. Let's not assume they're buying any additional single tokens. They're not buying membership fees to get packages of tokens. They're not buying special, groups of tokens. I mean, let's only talk about the free tokens for watching 5 15-second commercials a day. That's 30 days a month. That's $150. So if you get 10% of that in commission, well, what's 10% of $150? It's $15. What if you went out and got 10 people to download the app and start playing? Well, that'd be $150 a month. What if you got 100? What if you got 1,000? But it gets better than that, because you know what? Anybody that downloads the app and likes it, what did we say the international average of referral is? 7. So let's say that you got 100 to download the app and play it. Well, let's not assume that they referred it to 7. Let's just say they did 5. Let's lower the number. So those 100 got 500 that did it, and if they're each doing $150 a month in free tokens alone, you're getting $15 for each of those. But guess what? It's even better. because anybody they refer are also your customers, and anybody their customers refer are your customers. It's like an endless chain of customers referring customers referring customers. As long as that keeps going, as long as people keep referring people, well, guess what? You're going to continue to get paid. Let me ask you a question. Has Angry Birds been around for a while? Has Candy Crush been around for a while? Has fantasy sports been around for a while? Yeah. Are people still calling people and say, hey, play Angry Birds with me? Are they sending them links through their Facebook and social media? Or people contacting and say, hey, join my fantasy league? Of course they are. Well, somebody got them to join, and somebody got them to join, and somebody got them to join, but who's getting paid for that? So literally, I want you to think about that. I want you to think about that 10%. Just think about $15 per player. Now, it could be more than that because a lot of players are going to buy more tokens. A lot of players are going to want to play more than that. But you put a pencil to the paper, and I would say be conservative. How many customers do you feel you can get? And how many will they get? And how many will they get? Remember, on average, they refer 7. But lower those numbers and know that you're going to get $15 minimum just on the free tokens that they get. Now, it's even better than that because anybody that you get that wants to be an affiliate and make money like you and me, well, they're going to be on your first tier. And they're going to be able to get as many customers as they want. We call these players. They can get as many as they want, and their players will refer players that refer players that refer players. And so then you can teach them to do the same thing that you're doing where they can make money. Well, they can get affiliates. Who get affiliates? Who get affiliates? And through 9 levels or 9 tiers is what we call it of players, of affiliates who all get players, you can earn commissions up to 9 tiers of affiliates who are all getting players. I mean, there's some amazing things that are going on with this. You get a chance to be first. Virtually nobody has heard about this yet. When you look at a world population of about 8 billion, I mean, there's probably 10, 20,000, 30,000 people, I don't know, I'm just guessing, that have maybe even heard about this. Hasn't even opened yet where you can download the app. That's coming in the fall of this year. So my advice is get with the person that shared this with you. Our game plan is simple. We've got something called the Global Sports Network game plan. First down, second down, third down, fourth down, boom, baby. You score a touchdown. That's when somebody decides to be a player or become an affiliate and help get players as well. So I appreciate you taking time to listen to this. Get back with the person that shared this with you. Put a pencil to the paper and take a look at just that 10%. Just that 10% on players who get players who get players who get players. Because you can build a player network over time of hundreds, maybe even thousands, maybe even tens of thousands. And minimum $15 each a month just on the freemium side before they purchase anything. This truly is the most powerful thing that I've seen, and I've been in this industry now for 27 years building this type of business worldwide. So I hope you take a real serious look because I don't know if we'll ever see anything like this again. One thing I do know is I'm not willing to bet that I'll see it again. Not sure about you. But either way, hope you make a positive decision to join us, or at the very least, to download the app when it comes out in the fall and play and have fun. Either way, hope you have a great day and look forward to meeting you soon. Take care. Ciao.